We wanted to have a good debate about the death penalty. We asked for your help, and we were totally overwhelmed by your response. Today, I'm taking your questions out on the street. Why the death penalty? Why not life without parole?
Two major reasons. I don't have to pay for it. Taxpayers pay for people to live. Second is, if there's closure for whoever's involved, if it's a victim's family, I don't know. Some people need that. I would.
Do you think that the death penalty would be more effective if it was televised?
We don't want to deal with those sort of things, but we need to. We need to teach our children how to deal with it because it's the right thing to do. Now, if they just had a certain channel that you could go to, you'd get someone that's going to oppose that, though.
What if it was you?
Certainly, there's always been innocent people put to death over the history of the world. We do is probably as good a job as any of trying to make sure that tragic mistake does not happen, but it happens on occasion.
What's the acceptable percentage of innocent people put to death that you could live with?
None. But with DNA today, there shouldn't be any innocent people alone.
What do you think is a better deterrent of crime? Life in prison without parole or the death penalty?
Death penalties really doesn't matter. Evil in a person really it's going to exist whether there's a death penalty or life in prison.
Do you think if someone murders someone and then they get life in prison without parole, do you think they suffer enough for what they've done?
Yeah, I think they are because they're in prison.
But they still breathe and eat and can even sometimes see their loved ones?
Yeah, but they're still suffering on the inside. It's killing them more on the inside than you see.
What countries have the highest death penalty rates? Do you know?
The United States.
What other countries?
China.
Yep. Iran?
Certainly.
Surprised?
No.
Pakistan?
I would think so.
And Saudi Arabia. Why do you think the U.S. clings to the death penalty?
That is something I don't understand. It's, I'm sure, deeply rooted in the country's history. It's the only, what you might call, broad Western democracy that actually practices it.
Would Jesus be in favor of the death penalty?
I wouldn't say he would be in favor for it, but I do believe that, according to the Bible, that there are laws, of the world, and that there are laws that are to govern people in society.
Is it hypocritical to be pro-choice and anti-death penalty?
No, I agree that there's something different between a fetus and a murderer in terms of our moral judgment on those two human beings, but they're ultimately still humanity. And it's not for us to say, take away a life.
What Jesus said was, anybody who is without sin, you throw the first stone. We do have a responsibility to be merciful to people who have sinned.
What about the central commandment, thou shalt not kill?
There's so much you have to take in the right context.